Hey everybody, I want to share with you a concept about one of the most interesting men in the history of the world. His name was Noah. Remember him? The flood. Everybody was evil. One man, one wife, one family, boat, flood. Remember the deal. Now, when you hear the story, you're thinking, simple. They were perfect. They were flawless. Everything was really incredible for them. They were connected to God at the highest level. And so that's why they were chosen to be the ones to rebuild humanity. But when you get a little closer to the story, you realize that there's something else going on. Rashi, who is maybe the most popular commentator, says, you know what? Noah was incredible for his generation. But if he was in Abraham's generation, he really wouldn't have been as great. Really? You know, the Talmud says that Noah was of small faith, miktane emuna. The prophets say that the waters, the flood waters, were called Mei Noach, the waters of Noah. Wait, is he the righteous, flawless individual, or does he have his hand in a little of the challenges here? What's going on? So I heard an approach that I want to share with you. What does it mean to be lacking in faith? Miktane emuna. It doesn't mean that he didn't have faith in God. He had a lot of faith in God. I mean, he was the single person against the world. Your faith has to be super strong. You see, God is not only in everything, he's in everyone. Which means in every person is a piece of God. Which means every person of his generation had within them a tselem Elokim, a form of God, a piece, a ray. Maybe what he was lacking wasn't in God, the big God. Maybe what he was lacking in is when he saw somebody committing evil things, maybe conceptually, not Noah himself. Maybe he didn't believe in the God of each person. That means in each person was that divineness that he didn't believe was in there. Because maybe when he saw them doing evil things, had he seen them for their godly self, he could have extracted that godliness. And maybe when he got on the boat, they would have came with him. So much of our lives is relationships. And so much of our relationships is how we see people. And one of the mistakes we make is, I think, the exact same mistake. We see people for what they do and not for who they are. People do bad things. They're humans. Happens all the time. But even if they do things that aren't right, they don't lose who they are. People aren't what they do. They're not human doings. They're human beings. Who they are is at a different level. It's a different essence. And who a human is a piece of God. And so many times our relationships, so many times the people in our lives don't grow to where they can because no one ever saw it in them. No one ever looked at them and saw the good that was in them. No one ever looked past their actions and saw their essence. When we look at people, ask ourselves, do we judge them by what they do, by what they wear, by what they have? Or do we look a little deeper and try to find the divineness in them? Believe in them. I think that's the lesson of Noah. That yes, sometimes that you got to get on a boat. But ideally, when you get on that boat, you want everyone to come with you. We're all given people in our lives, family and friends. And it's so easy to look at them for what they do. But I think God is telling us, look deeper. See, because if you see the God in them, maybe they'll see the God in themselves. Maybe everyone gave up on them, but you don't. And then they won't. And maybe if we walk around seeing the God in each other, we'll be able to actually be a people that extract that into the world, that live that way, that realize that we're all divinely created and are divine beings.